Hey, this is one of the things I'm going to do first is I'm going to give myself a little more room on this video track here. I'm going to open that up, zoom in just a little bit, and I want to show keyframes on this clip. So I'm going to right click on it, drop down here to show clip keyframes, and you'll see time remapping. And I'm going to click on speed right there. So you'll see now this line here. This is going to allow me to set keyframes for the time remapping. I'm going to scrub through this footage and look for the point that he releases the arrow. It's right there. And so that's where I'm going to set a keyframe. I'm going to hold down the control key or the command key, and you'll see that I get this icon with the plus button. I'm going to click on that line right there, and it now sets a keyframe. Just so that you see where these keyframes also are available, up here in the effects control for that clip that I have selected, you'll see now that we've set a keyframe for the speed there. Now, the way to adjust this is this first part here, I want it to play back at normal speed. So I'm going to grab the line right there, and I'm going to start pushing up, and you'll see my percentage there increasing from 100%. And I'm going to push this on up to 300 and about 333% there, right in that area. And so now this first part of the clip is going to play back at normal speed. Now keep in mind, I shot this at 96 frames per second and it was playing back in slow-mo already. So I needed to increase the speed of it to play back at normal speed. That may not be the case for your footage. If you shoot it at 60 frames on a DSLR or something like that, it may already be playing back at normal speed. So I'm going to play through this. You see, it plays back at normal speed, and then when we come to that point right there, it drops back down to a slower speed. Now, I am going to decrease the speed over here on this side of it a little bit more. I'm going to drag that down to about 50%. And so when he releases again, we'll see that arrow move a little bit slower. Now I'm going to scrub through the footage and kind of mark another spot here about where he gives us a reaction. About in this area, I'm going to set another keyframe. I'm going to hold down the control key or the command key. I'm going to click right there and add that keyframe. You'll see that keyframe added in right there. And then I'm going to bring back on the right side of this keyframe back up to normal speed, which would be for this clip around 333%. And so now when we play, he goes back to normal speed. Now, on these keyframes here, we have a couple of handles that we can use. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to set the timeline indicator right there, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see this a little bit better. And these handles, this is going to allow me to ramp from one speed to the other, because at this point right now, it's just kind of a cut from one speed to the other. We're at 100% right there, and then we jump up to 333% right there. So to ramp this, I'm going to grab one of the handles and start dragging it out. And you see that I start creating that ramp right there. I'm going to keep working with these till I get this about where I want it. Okay, so right there. And let's see, we'll drag that out just a little bit more. And we'll play through that. And now, rather than it just being a quick cut between those speeds, it will ramp, which is a little bit smoother look. So we'll play back through this one more time. Normal speed right there. We cut to a slower speed with the release of the arrow. It plays through, and then it'll ramp back up to normal speed. I have one more clip. This clip here is a clip of my daughter when she was in high jump. Again, so that I can see these keyframes, I'm going to open up this track a little bit, widen it up a little bit, and I'm going to go to the clip, right click on it, drop down here to show clip keyframes, and then do time remapping speed. And this line here is for me to set keyframes on. On this one, the first part of it, again, I shot this at 96 frames per second, and so it's in slow-mo already. So I'm going to need to speed it up for this first part, but right about here is where I want it to go back to slow motion. And so I'm going to set a keyframe right there, hold down Control key, Command key, set that keyframe, jump over here to the left, and I'm going to push this speed back up to about 333% on this one. And now the first part of this, you'll see she's at normal speed, and then when we hit that jump, it goes back into slow-mo. Now, I can bring this back down on the right side to a little bit slower speed, drop that down. Again, we'll see, we'll take a look at about 50%, and we'll take a look at that. Normal speed to slow motion. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it back in about right here to normal speed, and we'll ramp that again. So I'm going to set a keyframe right there, and then I'll push this right side back up. And then I will drag this out for us to ramp just a little bit. And we'll take a look at that. Take a look at this one more time. First part of this is at normal speed. Then we cut to slow motion there. And then we'll ramp back up to normal speed. So keep in mind, in this example, I'm slowing footage down. I am also speeding it up, but that is something else you can also do, is you can speed up footage using this same technique. You would just push the bar in the opposite direction. I hope this has been helpful. For more on digital content creation, check out my other tutorials.